My stepson came to me depressed because his mom's girlfriend shaved off all his hair, and that woman had the audacity to tell me to be quiet because you're not his real mom. Posted by you/standard_display 6293. This is a throwaway, and all names have been changed. To explain the relationships here, I, 30F, married my husband, Alex, 31M, about a year ago, but we've been together for 4 years. He was previously married, and after they had agreed to divorce, she told him she was pregnant. We'll call his ex Kate, 30F. Kate had been cheating on Alex with Jess, 32F, for about a year. I had known Alex for years through mutual friends, and I met his son when he was 6 months old. So, present day, Kate and Jess are still together, but very hot and cold. I went to pick up my stepson from school. Jess had dropped him off, and he seemed quiet and sad. I asked him what was wrong, and he said he was sad because he had no hair. He has beautiful curly hair and had told us he wanted to grow it out into a mullet. At that time, my husband cleared it with his mom, and they were both okay with that. She agreed to have me trim it as needed, like around his ears. He took his hat off, and it was buzzed down to his scalp. I was shocked but just said, "Well, I think you look very handsome, but I thought you wanted to grow it out. Why did you cut it?" Apparently, Jess was going to trim it and forgot to put a guard on. When she realized that, it was too late, and she had to buzz it. When we got home, I called Kate. She didn't know how bad the haircut was and was tied up at a work event. She suggested I make sure I got the whole story on what happened, so with her permission, I went right to Jess after I called my husband, who was driving home from a couple of hours away, and explained what was going on. So I called Jess, asked to verify what he said, and told her how upset he was. She said that was exactly what happened but didn't see why it was such a big deal. She kept saying I was overreacting and that it's just hair, so I tried to explain that, as a kid, there's so much he doesn't get a say in, so it was a big deal to him. I told her she should never go near his head with clippers again. She came back with, "Well, you're not his mom," and when I reminded her she wasn't either, she said, "I'm a hell of a lot closer than you. I've been there since day one," to which I said, "Yeah, because you were an affair partner. Don't cut his hair again," and hung up. I called my husband back to explain everything and calm down. He had been on the phone with Kate discussing things as well, and I texted Kate to give an overview and say I was sorry if I overreacted. It's the next day, and Jess is trying to tell Kate I shouldn't be allowed to cut his hair if she can't, and I need to get my parenting privileges taken away. I think that's crazy. Just to clarify my role as a step-parent, Kate and my husband meet twice a year alone to discuss parenting things, and at the last one, Kate said she is comfortable with seeing me as a parent, and is ready to include me in the meetings going forward. But am I the jerk for being upset with Jess for not only buzzing his hair but for how she reacted trying to minimize it? Top/relevant comments. Commenter. I'm going to say you're not the jerk, but your husband and Kate should be handling these things. If I were in your shoes, I would have done the same, though. When you break it down, you and Jess are each just partners to his parents, and they should be the ones taking care of these things. He's not an object to take away from people and to fight over. Not sure how Kate didn't see her son's hair before, anyway. Ops response. Kate was already at work, which is why she didn't see it. And my husband was driving on his way back from a work offsite, which is why I picked him up. Kate and my husband don't communicate very well, part of the divorce, so about 2 years ago, the three of us talked and agreed that it made sense for me and Kate to communicate pretty regularly. It works for us, though not for everyone. And Kate agreed that, especially after we got married, I do get a say in how he's raised, though not as much as her and my husband, of course. Commenter 2. I love that y'all have a relationship where she's okay with you stepping into the mom role and advocating for her son, but, and this is just my personal opinion, it ain't my business. I think using the step-parent as a go-between for the actual parents is super messy. If it works for you, I'm happy for you. Every situation is different, and that's 100% okay. I just think it's a really fantastic way to cause issues in the long run. Ops response. That's fair, we talked a lot about it, and the majority of our conversations happen within a co-parenting app so everyone can see and respond, like a specialized group chat. At first, it was just Alex and Kate, but they agreed together to add me in there as well. We have lines drawn in our communication that help us. Commenter 3. I don't believe Jess. As soon as she saw that she'd shaved it too short in one area, that meant she had to shave his entire head? I bet she didn't like that she was the only one not included in the mullet decision, so she did this on purpose. Update 7 hours later. I ended up posting this in a couple of places, so I figured I'd put one update on this account for anyone who goes through the effort to check for one. My husband talked to Kate about why Jess would do that and react the way she did while he was driving home. Kate admitted she had noticed Jess asking questions about what I do and making little digs at me around their son, like he'll tell a story from our house, and she'll find a way to say something negative about me. She lightly called her out on this one time, and Jess had a really negative response. Kate and my husband were going to meet tomorrow to talk about it, but Kate called me very upset, saying they got into a fight. She doesn't have a lot of family, so this isn't the first time she has called me needing someone to talk to who knows the whole dynamic. I said she could come over and talk about it if she wanted, and she took me up on it. So she came over, we all played Hot Wheels for a bit, seeing their son obviously helped calm her down, and then I took him to the playroom while Alex and Kate talked. Apparently, Jess is tired of not being treated like as much of a parent as me in her eyes and cut his hair on purpose, basically to make a parenting decision that couldn't be reversed. That came out in a heated blow-up from her when Kate insisted she was okay with me cutting his hair so he could have the style he wanted, since I was good at it. Some more heated words were shared, and Jess gave Kate the ultimatum of treat me as well as you do her or we're done, then she stormed off and Kate called me. Next, Kate and Alex went in and talked to their son alone and asked some gentle questions about Jess while they played. He said sometimes she yells and he doesn't like it, she has spanked him, and he wouldn't be sad if she wasn't there. We all ate dinner together so our son could see that everything was okay, and we all told him how many fun things we could do with his hair as it grows back. He will be going to a professional for cuts, though. After Kate went home, my husband even buzzed his head and told our son that he thought it was so cool he wanted to match him. As of now, Kate is planning to end things for good, and I sure hope it sticks. That's all I got, folks. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. I have to say, after reading a lot of stories on here and from personal experience, it's nice to see your husband and his ex-wife co-parent as well as they do, to put their son first and communicate. And it's especially nice to see how all three of you act around each other for the better benefit of your stepson, to see how you communicate with Kate and talk through it first before reaching out to Jess. Kudos to you all. I hope that you keep working together in the future. Trust me, as someone whose parents divorced in my late teens many years ago, they struggle to be in the same vicinity as each other. It's hard to plan things for their now grandchildren. Also, listen to your stepson. Kids are very good at reading people. If he wouldn't be sad if she wasn't there, that's a huge red flag for me. Keep working together. I love that dad cut his hair too. Ops response. Thanks, my parents are still together, but my husband's got divorced when he was a teen, and his youngest sister was about my stepson's age. So I talked to her a lot to learn about what did or didn't work and the things she wished her parents had done. A big thing was seeing them in the same room together, so anytime we do a swap at one of our houses, we make a point to spend some time together chatting or playing with him. Second update 2 days later. I had no intentions of posting another update, but I've gotten a lot of DMs asking if anything has changed, so here is a final update before I log out of this throwaway. Kate and Jess met to talk, and I don't know everything that was said, but what I do know is that Kate then told us she would be filing for a restraining order against Jess and asked for my help because, unfortunately, I've had to file for one before. Then, Kate and Alex met at our house and talked over what that means for their son, and that conversation turned into what my role is as a parent. Kate and Alex are now in the process of amending their parenting agreement, which, frankly, they said was overdue anyway because he's a toddler now and all these agreements were made when he was an infant and their divorce was really raw. They asked me if I would be comfortable being written into the agreement to have things like the ability to take him to the doctor, be a designated contact, and a next of kin if anything happens to them, etc. They will also add in guidelines for introducing future partners. A lot of commenters said I needed to back off and let the parents handle this. While there are things I for sure could have done differently, I spoke with both Alex and Kate, and they both agreed they were thankful for how this happened and were glad I was the one who picked him up that day. But overall, Kate is upset. Kiddo is picking out the stencils he wants to spray designs into his hair as it grows out. All schools and family members have been informed that Jess is no longer allowed near anyone in this family on either side, and some important conversations have been had. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. I'm glad things are being worked out between the two biological parents, and I am glad that your position in his life is going to be more defined legally. I hope things stay on this positive path for the little guy's sake because, ultimately, he needs to grow up feeling safe and respected by those around him. I hope Jess does the mature thing and doesn't cause any more trouble for any of you. Here's to hoping for a boring life full of joy and laughter for all of you.